Now that we have seen how to create some variables and print their values, we would like to make this code a bit more reusable so that we can more easily print the name, age, and height of a person. And to do that, we can introduce a feature of the Dart language which is known as a function. So what I'm going to do now is to write some code to declare a function, and then I will explain it. So at the bottom of my editor, I can type in void space describe, and then open and close brackets. And then inside brackets, I'm going to type in string space name, comma, and then int space age, comma, and then double space height. And then outside the brackets, I can open and close a curly brace, just like this. So what I've done over here is to define a function, and a function has a name, which in this case is called describe. And then it has a pair of brackets. Inside the brackets, we can define some arguments, which are the parameters that the function takes as an input. So in this case, I have 3 arguments, and each argument is a variable, which is defined by its type and a name. So I have a string name, an int age, and a double height. The function can also define a return value, which is something that we are going to explore a little bit later. In this case, I'm writing a function that has no return value, and for this purpose, I can use a special keyword which is called void. So the return type is always defined as the first thing when we declare a function. And one thing that you might notice is that at the top, we also have something that looks like a function. In fact, here we have void main with empty brackets. So this means that main is a function that takes no arguments and returns no values. Okay, so we have now defined our describe function, but it doesn't really do anything just yet. And that's because the body of the function is empty. So what I'm going to do now is to take these statements and cut them and paste them inside the body of the describe function. And while I'm here, I'm also going to remove this print statement because I'm no longer interested in printing the number of letters in the name. So at this stage, I could run my code and I can see that the console log is now empty. And the reason for this is that in my main function, I'm not calling the describe function, and so I'm not printing anything. So to fix this, we can go back to our main method and call our function. And we can type describe with name, comma, age, comma, height. And then a semicolon in the end. And if I run the code over here, I can see that now the name, age, and height are printed. And if I want, here I could call the describe function again with different arguments. So I could say describe, and then the first argument, which is a string. So I could say math within quotes like this. And then, for example, 27 and 1.76, and then semicolon. And here I could run the code again, and I can see that the console log has now 3 more lines with the values that I'm passing over here. And just to be clear, in the first call to describe, I passed in some variables that I've declared beforehand, and in the second call, I've passed in some values directly without assigning them to variables first. And this is fine, because all that matters is that we pass the correct number of arguments, and each argument needs to be of the correct type. In summary, functions are useful to define code that can be reused, and we will use them extensively in this course. So let's continue on the next video.